Just two questions.
today?
Hi, Carey. Patrick. So nice to meet
nice
you.
to meet you.
So you've been a Sundance favorite for a long time. Promising Young Woman was incredible, and I just need to know, what are the tips when you attend Sundance? Like, what are your life hacks as far as like navigating the festival?
Oh, do you know what? Sturdy boots. You've got to have boots that don't, I was almost going to wear these like pointy boots this morning, and then it was so torrential. I don't know, I just think it's so fun. What I love about it most is the people you bump into. You just sort of see friends, or you see people that you love, and you want to sort of tell them. I do a lot of fangirling at Sundance.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Sundance right now, it's kind of in the mix of possibly moving to a different host location. Why do you think Park City should still continue to be the place for Sundance?
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that'd be devastating. It's just I don't know. I have so many memories here. I can't imagine it anywhere else. And I think the community is incredible. Everyone who you meet here, who lives here and works here and participates in the festival, they're all brilliant people. So yeah, it would be bizarre to think of it anywhere else.
I haven't been able to ski. Partly because I'm not insured to ski, and we've got a premiere, and I get back to London, and I'm shooting one of the TV shows that I created. So we're shooting our second season. So back in the UK, the BBC wouldn't like that. So no skiing, but I have been able to see a film. I did see Bubble and Squeak with Himesh Patel and Mo Gilligan, who's a friend of mine. He's in that, and it was something great to see. And actually, being part of some of the different activations, like I was at Macro. Macro had a lodge here, and some really good friends from back home were here. Jimmy Akimbola, Daniel Kaluuya, and people like that. We had a good kind of get together. So it's been more about the experience than seeing films. I've only seen one, unfortunately. But yeah, to anyone who is here or anyone who gets to come to Sundance, come out, see the films, and soak it up, man. It's a one of a kind experience.
How are you feeling before going into the Eccles Theatre? Any jitters?
Really nervous. Yeah, really nervous. No, I think it's been, since the short film we made, it's been 18 years. And my children are actually 18 years old, so it feels like I'm putting them both out into the real world for the first time. So I'm a bit like a nervous parent, I guess. I'm hoping people really respond to the film. And I never expected we'd get here. When I set out to make the film, or when we set out to make the film, we were literally making something with a group of friends, something that we really enjoyed and something we wanted to do. So we didn't imagine that we'd get this kind of response and this kind of audience. So it's just a pinch yourself moment for me. So,
And this is based on a short film.
Yeah, this is based on a short film that we made 18 years ago.
How does it feel returning back after 18 years? Do you have things that you have to fundamentally change because of time, or is it?
The short film was a very simple idea, and I guess we were also very young when we made it, and I feel like we've grown into the film that it is now. Which I think I'm much more happy. It's sort of, when you creatively, you wonder how you kind of got there, and then it all makes sense when you're actually there. Mm-hmm. Like the journey makes sense to why we got here. And if we'd have made the feature film when we made the short, because we were offered that, we developed the film at that point, like a year in, I think we were going to make the feature, and we just couldn't get there together. And then we all grew up a bit, I guess, and we all have the life experiences that we can now look back on, which is a kind of central theme of the film.
Right.
A lot of the film is about that feeling of feeling stuck in the present, looking back to the past for answers, and then using those answers to kind of move forward. So, I guess we wouldn't have been able to make it 18 years ago, so it's the right time now for us.
Very cool. Well, and for the audiences, when they're leaving the theater after this, what do you hope that they take away from the film?
I hope they just feel the same as they feel when they hear a song that they love, that it takes them to a place that's emotional, that's funny. I hope they laugh. I hope they cry a little bit. I find music does that. It evokes emotion, and there's a lot of music in the film that's kind of tied into these characters and their journey. So I hope people sort of come away feeling they've had a really joyous, emotional experience.
How does it feel being at Sundance for the first time?
Very exciting, slightly overwhelming. I really didn't know what to expect, but it's just such a huge festival. There's so much going on. It's just lovely to be a part of it, and to bring our film here is very special. It's what we were hoping for. And
talk to us a little bit about your character.
So I play Herb Maguire, who is a musician. He's a kind of singer-songwriter who was in a band with Carey's character, Nell, like 10, 15 years before the film starts, and the idea is they've gone their separate ways, and he's sort of pursued a slightly more pop music career, tried to kind of stay relevant, like creeping into his 40s but collaborating with people in their 20s, and I think feeling like he's a bit washed up, he's a bit past his best, and he receives this invitation to play a private gig for a huge sum of money, and he takes it just for the payday, really. And then it's about him coming to terms with who he is as an artist, as a person, about the life that he left behind, where he is now, and I guess, be honest with himself and ask himself some quite difficult questions. But at the heart, it's a comedy. It's a really fun, warm, intimate story between the three of us, and it's got, there are big themes in there, but really it's a small film on a big canvas.
Well, it's got to be fun delving into that kind of character.
Yeah.
Were there any pop icons or any rock stars that you were looking at for influence when you were researching?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a lot of musicians that I've kind of loved over the years. I think I suppose people who have kind of a interesting or difficult second act, like someone like Mark Kozelek is someone I've always loved his music. Someone like Ryan Adams, I've kind of loved his music, and I'm aware that he's had a very difficult second act. And I feel like what happens to musicians, but particularly when they achieve a level of success, that the aftermath can be quite difficult. It comes with a lot of issues normally, and I suppose that's something that I wanted to kind of use in this film, the idea that that music in particular as an art form is something that is quite damaging for people, and actually coming through that, keeping yourself sane, is very, very hard, and that's sort of the journey that my character's on. Yeah.
And do you have any Sundance plans after the premiere?
Well, I'm going to go skiing, I think, on Monday.
Anywhere you're going in particular?
We're staying in the Canyons Resort there, and our hotel is like a ski lift right at the bottom. So I was completely overwhelmed by that. I had no idea that was an option here. So I don't really, living in London, I don't really get the chance to ski very much. So I'm going to take every opportunity I can get while I'm here.
Oh, well, it's sort of like it creeps up on you. The main thing is we got to do Sundance, and when you hear that, it's like it's a huge thing for us because we never made a film before, and then you don't know whether people are going to respond to it. Mm-hmm. And so something like this is just a kind of, I don't know, just like stamp something on your film that it's like a very worthwhile film, or like people might enjoy it. So then we found out we were at this place. Yeah. So, and I haven't seen the film, so
right.
We're kind of like, usually you'd see it in a cast and crew thing. So to see it for the first time in Sundance in an enormous, prestigious theatres, it's kind of quite amazing, like a dream.
What are some of the positives and negatives to co-writing and also being a part of the cast in it?
Very good question. I think I find it much easier to switch. So we wrote it together, me and Tom, and I do remember once it gets to a certain stage where we're about to film, I could switch off and switch over, whereas he couldn't. He's needs to keep writing and keep solving problems. And I think, weirdly, that's probably quite a good balance. That I don't think you want two people who are just can't let go of the script, and I don't think you want two people who are like, well, that's done. So I think it was probably quite useful. I mean, easy for me to say because I was the one who steps back, but it was good because there's some bits where I can where between us we have a decent kind of two-headed personality where we can both be sufficiently caring about the script but also sufficiently caring about the next step as well. So yeah, you're right, that was a challenge, but yeah, it was it worked okay, I think.
Well, I'm hopeful that after this everybody's going to be applauding for the film. What are your plans as far as Sundance goes outside of the festival?
They went skiing, and I've picked up a groin injury. Yes. So I went to the Olympic Museum, and then had a hot chocolate in a garden centre.
That sounds like my kind of time.
It was nice.
That's what I would be.
Yeah,
cool
I'm not knocking it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure
really nice to meet
meeting
you. Yeah, thank you.